Hello guys, going to be going over the MLB PrizePicks slate for Thursday, May 26th. And apparently PrizePicks, their maintenance is actually today, probably pushed it back or they just messed up the timing. But I want to get this video out before that is going to happen. So no rush though. Guys going to probably see this video while the maintenance is happening or after it. But there's no pitching props that I really like today. So you could just wait to put in your picks afterwards. Definitely not going to lose any edge or anything. So looking at hitter fantasy score, first one I like is Ian Happ. However, this is a possible postponed game. We have a few actually on this slate. Cincinnati is definitely one. Detroit looks like it might be okay. Atlanta for sure. St. Louis maybe. So if this game is going to play, which I'm kind of skeptical on, I would take Happ at 4.5. The over, he just plays so well in Cincinnati. Hunter Green, just a pitcher that I'll always attack. Hunter Green, fastball, slider, pretty much to everyone. And when you're a two-pitch starter, it is very easy to hit. Hunter Green's had some good starts, but also that almost like close to no-hitter game where he actually lost, that was against the Pirates. So the Cubs, they're not really, I mean, they're kind of the same tier as Pittsburgh, but Hunter Green, just not someone that really kind of is someone that I worry about. So Aggie and Happ, he's a better hitter when he is hitting lefty, and this is just a great hitter's ballpark. If they can play the weather, like I'm fine with it. Rain, like it could be good, it could be bad. Just I don't really factor that too much. Same thing with football with rain. So I think his projection's just too low. So that's why I do like taking the over on Ian Happ. And then the next one is going to be Josh Bell at 5.5 as well. Taking the over. Really like this play. So against Colorado, it is in Washington, D.C., and 73 degrees, 7 miles, kind of blowing right to left. The wind. German Marquez is on the mound, and if you take a look at Marquez, he's just not really been good this year. His expected ERA is a lot lower, but like expected batting average, a lot of these numbers just aren't the same. It's weird because Marquez, I mean, he's 27. We probably would expect him to be a lot better as the season goes on, but right now he's just not that great, and he's really giving it up to lefties. This was last year. This year, kind of the same thing you can see. So he definitely struggles against lefties. Josh Bell, you look at how he's been doing this year, 296 right now. Expected batting average 304, top 10% of the league. He's lowered his strikeout rate, a very high or a good walk rate. And his splits, he's a much better hitter when he's facing off right-handed pitchers, and he gets one in Marquez. And then another thing is that I think a lot of people are going to be talking about how Josh Bell's BVP, he's 2 for 21 against Marquez. Well, I don't really buy into that because you got to look at context. You can't just straight up say, well, this guy has very good BP numbers. Like he's 6 for 8 with 4 homers. I'm going to take the over because he's going to do the same thing today or something. Like, you got to look at how that game was played out and all of that stuff. There was a season back then, it might have been 2020. Yeah, like Josh Bell was awful this season. Marquez, he's been a lot better in his career than what he's been doing this season. And right now you just have a pitcher that is struggling, while Bell, he's having one of his better years. So it just matches up well. And another thing about Marquez is you would think a Coors pitcher would pitch better on the road, but you look at his home and away splits. Home games 367 ERA, away 538. He's actually worse away because he probably knows how to pitch in Coors with ground balls, but this is not as great of a spot as you think for a Rockies road pitcher. So I do like Josh Bell quite a bit, 5.5. I just think this this projection is way too low for him. And then the third play for fantasy score, it is going to be Anthony Rendon again. I like taking this guy when he's facing off against lefty, and he gets one in Hyunjin Ryu. Quick look at Rendon. And I'm going to pull up Ryu as well. So Rendon, he's not really having like a spectacular year by any means, but these numbers, like, they're definitely good. And 31, has one of the better eyes in the league. He doesn't really K much and has a good walk rate, of course. So his splits, his power is coming from when he's facing off against lefties. That's kind of been the case, throughout his career. Like back then, if we looked at like, the Nationals, he had some really good years here. He was injured for some part over here. So, those numbers kind of with injuries, you can't really read too much into it. But Rendon always going to be batting behind those Angel studs. Ohtani, Trout, hopefully Ward's back in the lineup, Walsh. So there's a lot of firepower in this offense, of course. Now, Hyunjin Ryu, he's just been bad this season. Like all that blue stuff, 35 years old, former All-Star, but he's just not the same pitcher that he was with, I think it was the Dodgers back here. And just not someone that his K rate has definitely fallen. Not really walking a ton of guys, but not expecting batting average of 306. He's getting hit pretty hard, and all that just bodes really well for the Angels, especially a righty like Rendon. So really like a 6-point projection for him today. And then moving on to runs in one, I have one hits and walks play, and that's Xander Bogarts at 1.5. I mean, I'm not really going to pull the numbers up for this one. They're against Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel's just an awful pitcher now. Bogarts, he's been having a hell of a year. And this game, I don't know how both teams have a 4.6 run projection, because I think for any team, when you're facing off against Keuchel, you just probably should have a run total north of 5. And the conditions, they're not like bad. They're not great either. But I mean, it is a very good matchup for these Red Sox. So I love Bogarts here at 1.5. Even though I usually take unders on hits and walks, I think this is definitely a very good over to take. Keuchel will walk. Bogarts can definitely walk. So that match is right there. And then Bogarts just having a righty-lefty matchup in his favor, always something that I like to target. And then now runs and RBIs. So they are actually some good ones. Back to normal compared to yesterday. So the first one, Jonathan Daza, 0.5. Interested in this one because he just doesn't strike out. And he gets the platoon advantage against Patrick Corbin, who has been awful. Another pitcher that has just fallen off. And Daza, this Rockies team, for runs and RBIs prop, you kind of do have to factor in his teammates, how good they are. And the Rockies against lefties, that is not the right website, Fangraphs. Left-handed pitchers and then away games, because that's very important for Coors guys. Change the date to today. For the whole year, away. So WRC Plus, Colorado, they rank 6th in WRC Plus, 124. Very strong against lefties, even on the road. So I like the chances of the Rockies being able to score some runs against Corbin, and hopefully, or actually, I'm not too sure, so I'm not going to say it, but Chris Bryant, he was back, but then he got scratched from the lineup, so not sure about his status for today. But of course, if we do get him back, then big boost to this Rockies lineup. But just two pitchers in this game that have been good in the past, but not so much now. So very interested in Daza. He's also someone that does run really well. And then the next one, going to be one of the locks today, and that is Byron Buxton. Probably my favorite play of the day, actually. They are at home taking on a lefty, and Buxton, he actually hasn't gotten a hit in the last week, which obviously that sucks, but he's actually still hitting the over on this prop. It's because he's walking, he has speed, so he's able to come around and score. His teammates with Correa back in the lineup, very helpful for him to hit the over on this. Daniel Lynch, not particularly great, and 4.7 run total, very strong. And Buxton, he's had terrific numbers. I mean, just this last week, he's been kind of cold. He's been in and out of the lineup because they've just been limiting his workload. But, right, like, these numbers, very strong. Just, I expect him to definitely hit the over on this prop more times than not, especially in good matchups. And he's got significant splits, but it is in his favor today. Hitting significantly higher, more power against lefties. So really like this prop, 0.5 for today. And then the next one, also one that I really like, probably going to be a lock as well. Trevor Story at 0.5. He has been absolutely on fire, and now he gets a platoon advantage too. The Red Sox, as I said with Bogarts, I just think this run total is too low. And Trevor Story, I think he's going to get bumped in the lineup, bumped up in the order sometime soon. Projected 5th now, which, I mean, that is technically a spot up from where he's been batting before. But we might see him batting in the leadoff spot soon because Kike Hernandez has kind of struggled this year. And Story just, the way he's playing, he deserves to be batting higher in the order. So if he decides to, or if the Red Sox do bat him higher, then yeah, absolutely lock this in. But for right now, I still think it's going to be most likely a lock though. So really like this prop. And then Taylor Ward 0.5. He doesn't have a concussion anymore, but he has missed almost a week now. And he said that like he's fine now, but he was only available to pinch hit on Wednesday. So he's getting close. And if he is in the lineup, platoon advantage for him against Ryu. Ryu doesn't walk guys, but Ward has an insane walk rate. And he doesn't necessarily need to walk. Like he can just hit himself, hit a homer, has Ohtani and Trout batting behind him to drive him in. So I do like this prop, platoon advantage for Ward if he is able to return to the lineup. But because we do have that unknown status over him, not going to lock this in. We just have to wait for the lineup to come out. And who knows, maybe they don't even bat him leadoff for his first get back. Varsho, the last play today. Over on this one, taking on Mitch White. So Mitch White, he's not really that great of a pitcher, but he is, I would say, one of the weaker arms in this Dodgers stacked rotation. And it's going to be over 100 degrees for this one. 9-mile winds blowing out, helping the lefties towards right field. The concern is that Mitch White is not going to go deep into the games, so you might see Varsho get 1, maybe 2 at-bats against White. And because the D-backs are probably going to try to stack lefties with the righty on the mound, you might see a lot of lefty relievers later on in the game, and that's really going to nerf this Diamondbacks lineup. So that is just my concern with this one. I would say out of the 5 runs and RBIs, probably Varsho's my least favorite, but still, because of the conditions, the weather, how he's just been such a great hitter this year, batting leadoff, that's why I still have him on the list. But I definitely like Buxton and Story the most out of this bunch. So those are the 2. And then Ian Happ as a third guy if this game is able to play with this projection fantasy score. So that's it for the video for Thursday. And going to be back Friday, of course, with a full slate of games. So good luck on this slate. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.